A few weeks ago, I made a video in which I shared some of the lessons that I've learned in life. But a few days after that, I actually came across something on Telegram, which I felt impressed to share with you. And it's also talking about um, things that we learn with age as we go through life. And this one is actually titled 20 Golden Things You Learn with Age. And number one on this list is peace is better than being right. My understanding of this is that it's better to cut ties with abusive people, whether they be family members or anyone else, um, rather than fighting with them to prove that you are right. Number two, time is the most valuable currency. Yeah, when your life runs out, that's the end. Um, there's nothing more you can do in life when your time here on this earth comes to an end. When your life comes to an end, it's almost like everyone's got an hourglass that's full of sand, and no one knows when the the last bits of sand will go through to the bottom half of the hourglass. In other words, no one knows when their life is going to come to an end. It's the time to to do constructive things with your life is when you're alive, not when you're dead. And of course, there are some religions and some cultures that believe that when you die, when someone dies, they they are sent to heaven, and then they take care of their loved ones that have been left behind. But that's actually necromancy. God forbids that. Um, if everyone went to heaven when they died, then there'll be no need for Jesus to come back to the earth to resurrect those who died having faith in him. Number three, not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. My understanding of that is just because someone is related to you, such as a parent or any other relative, it does not mean they deserve a place in your life. When if you don't get along with them or if they are being abusive, cut ties and move on with your life. Health. Number four is health truly is wealth. Um, I came across another meme on Telegram that said that when someone is sick, no, when something along the lines of when you are well, when you are in good health, you've got a lot to complain about. But when you are sick, you've only got one thing to complain about, and that's your sickness. So health is wealth, and sometimes we tend to complain about petty, unimportant things when we're in good health, and yet that's it says here that's a true health is truly your wealth. Number five, silence often speaks louder than words. So here in Zimbabwe, I've noticed that there's an issue with communication. Um, I'm talking about Zimbabweans in general. They don't communicate very well. And that's not to say all Zimbabweans are like that, but for instance, if I send someone a text message, sometimes they don't respond, or if I call someone and they don't answer, obviously they're going to see that I called them and there's going to be a missed call, but they don't return my call, or and they don't answer they don't respond to my text messages. And I never really experienced that when I was in the UK, but here, even when you're dealing with government agencies, there seems to be a problem with communication. So what this is saying, what number five is, it's number five, isn't it? Silence often speaks louder than words. So if you're trying to if you're talking to a friend or relative, on one of these, let's say one of these apps, let's say WhatsApp or Telegram or any other app, and then they don't respond to you, it says that that silence speaks louder than words. Basically means that person is not interested in communicating with you. It's often said that actions speak louder than words, but here they're saying silence often speaks louder than words. Or actually, if you're talking to someone face to face and you say something to them and they don't respond, if you say hi to someone and you know that they've heard you and then they don't respond, obviously that's also says a lot in itself. Number six, saying no is a form of self-respect. I mentioned in one of my videos, because sometimes I actually go back and watch some of my videos that I've made, and recently, I think it was even yesterday, today being Saturday, um, the 12th of July. was watching one of my videos, and I spoke about how in Africa, or in, let's say, in African families, it's almost like there's an unwritten rule that if someone older than you, let's say older than you, let's say a parent or another relative, an uncle or an aunt, like tells you to do something, it's almost like you can't say no. But this is actually saying no is a form of self-respect. Um, that's something that I was never trained to do when I was growing up by my parents. I was never taught that I have the right to say no. I obviously learned that a bit later on, especially as an adult. I I started saying no, and obviously then that caused issues with my parents and with other relatives as well, who were being abusive because they were not used to me saying no. They were just used to me going along with whatever they wanted. But it says here it's a form of saying no is a form of self-respect. Number 7, kindness never goes out of style. You don't lose anything by being kind. Number 8, comparison kills joy. Um, let's say comparing your wife to someone else or comparing your husband to someone else. It says kills joy. Number 9, happiness comes from within. There are some people who want other people to make them happy. In fact, I remember watching a video where this pastor, there was this young man who was about to get married, and this pastor said to this young man, do you think, now I'm kind of like paraphrasing what was said, this was quite a while, a few years ago, I watched this video. Anyway, this pastor said to this young man, do you think you can ever be happy without your fiancée, the woman you're about to marry? And this man said no. And this pastor said, well, that means you will never be happy then. And you should not think that someone else can make us happy. It's up to us to make ourselves happy. Number 10, trust is earned, not given. And trust is quite an important element in relationships. When someone betrays you, basically, why would you continue to have a relationship with that parent when you know you can't with that person rather, when you know you can't trust them? There's also this is not on the list, but there's also a saying, and I've seen it on Telegram a few times. I use Telegram quite a lot. That's why I'm talking about it. Where it's actually been said in different ways, that it's something along the lines of, if someone shows you their true colors, why would you try to repaint them? Or if someone shows you their true colors, believe them. If someone is being nasty to you or abusive to you, then don't think that you misunderstood something. They're showing you their true colors. Take it for what it is. And like it's already been said here, you stay away from such people. 11, simple moments are the most precious. 12, you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. Don't try to get into fights with everyone, because once again, that will mean you're going to lose your peace. I think we're number 13. 13, letting go is part of growing. That's one of the hard lessons I've had to learn in life, just letting go of abusive relationships. I've got people that are were very close to me, growing up, that I've basically had to walk away from, because I realized that I'll never have peace if I continue to try and have, and I did try to have a relationship with some of these people, but I realized that actually walking away is part of the healing process. Number 14, your energy is sacred, protect it. Don't waste time on useless things, and don't waste time on those that don't appreciate you. 15, gratitude shifts everything. A simple thing like saying thank you to someone when they do something to you, it's really appreciated. 16, people show you who they are, believe them. Yeah, that's similar to when someone shows you their true colors. You have to believe them. Don't think you misunderstood someone just because someone is your dad or your mom and then they're being abusive to you. Don't think that, oh, maybe this is how parents are supposed to behave. No one has got the right to abuse anyone. 17, I think. 17, it's okay to outgrow people and places. Yeah, move on. 18, wisdom often comes from pain. When you are let down, like I've been let down many times by lots of different people, whether it be family members, relatives, or even workmates. He says you gain wisdom from that. 19, life isn't a race. Go at your pace. Don't compete with anyone. I actually have to. I used to have this saying when I was in the police in the UK. I used to have this saying that I'm in competition with myself. You know, there were these other workmates of mine that used to want to compete with me, but I'm not in competition with anyone. This is actually what causes conflict sometimes. You know, because the whole thing of domination, which I've mentioned a number of times in my videos, that even Christians do, that they try and dominate. That's a form of competition, and that's actually satanic. Because if you look at what you know, Lucifer tried to do in heaven, when he basically tried to dethrone God, who actually created him, that's a form of competition. And as Christians, we're not supposed to be in competition with anyone. Last one, the little things are actually the big things. What I would say on that is it's small things that we take for granted that are actually really important. Right now, I can stand, I can walk, I can talk, I can hear, I can see. With sight, obviously, being one of the most important gifts that God has blessed us with. I do have health issues. I've got back pain, and I've got, you know, an injury. I've got what's called geographic tongue, and I got that after I took a plunger when I was in Glasgow. I'm using coded language here because I'm going to put this on YouTube, but and sometimes I get a rash on my lower body as a result of taking that, which is something I really regret. Out of the many things I've done in my life, that's one of the things I really regret. But I do have health issues, but I can still walk. You know, I can do a lot of things. I do a lot of things around the homestead here. I mean, I cut my own wood with a chainsaw. I carry wood. Yes, and my back does trouble me, but you know, I can breathe without any assistance from a machine. It's small things like that that we are actually supposed to take for granted. It's, like it says here, the little things are actually the big things. Having even things like having the freedom to worship God without persecution here where we are in Zimbabwe, and being able to travel and go and do shopping without anyone harassing me or anything like that, you know, those are really important things. So yeah, I just came across that. In fact, I was supposed to share that last time I made videos, but I kind of missed it somehow. So I decided to share that today. Hopefully that will bring encouragement to those of you who are watching.